Now let's look at some expanded regular expression syntax. So here we have operations. We'll have an example of that operation. We'll have a string or set of strings that it matches, and we'll have strings that it does not match. So the first operation is dot, and that matches any character except for new line. So the example we have here is dot, capital U, dot, capital U, dot, capital U, dot. And so that'll match cumulus, it'll match jugulum, but it won't match succubus or tumultuous, right? Because in both of those do not match cases, we have multiple characters between the uppercase U's. And we only have a single dot, so it's only going to match one character. The second example we have is a character class. We define a character class using brackets. And so within that, we can put individual characters or we can put ranges. So here we have capital A dash capital Z and lowercase a dash lowercase z. So what that'll define is our character class is uppercase letters along with lowercase letters. And then that's followed by another character class of lowercase a to lowercase z, and that has the asterisk, which means 0 or more of that. So this will match an uppercase or lowercase letter followed by 0 or more lowercase letters. So it'll match word, all lowercase, or it'll match capitalized with a capital C. But it's not going to match the word camel case where the second C is capitalized, because only the first letter can be capitalized. And similarly for illegal will not match either because the first character is a number and not a letter. Okay, so the third example is, or third operation in this case, is at least one, and that's the plus operator. So here we have J-O plus H-N. So that means there has to be at least one O, but there could be more than one. So it'll match John, it'll match J, lots of O's, H-N, but it won't match J-H-N, and it won't match J-J-O-H-N because there are two J's and the pattern does not include two J's. The next operation is question mark, and that's for 0 or 1 instances of the character. So J-O-H question mark N will match 0 or 1 H's. So 0 H's would be J-O-N or John, and 1 H would be J-O-H-N or John. It won't match any other string. Okay, our next one is using the curly braces with a number in it. That will match the preceding operation exactly 3 times repeated. So here we have J, and then we have a character class consisting of A, E, I, O, U, so the vowels, and braces 3, H, N. So what that means is pick one or more of those characters from the character class, repeat them 3 times, and that's it. So it'll match J, A, O, E, H, N. So there we picked A, we picked E, and we picked O. It'll match J, triple O, H, N. There we picked O and just repeated it 3 times. But it won't match J, H, N because we need 3 of the characters from that character class. And it won't match J, A, E, I, O, U, H, N because that has 4 of the characters from our character class, not 3. And the last one is where we put A, comma, B in our curly braces. And what that says is take the character, the operation before, and repeat that anywhere from 1 to 2 times in this example. So from A to B. So here we have J and then the character class OU, and that's repeated one of those, or both, 1 or 2 times. And so we either have J-O-H-N would be one example where O is selected and repeated once, or J-U-O-H-N where we selected both O and U, and there are 2 that were selected from that class. But J-H-N won't match because we need at least 1 from the class, and J-O-O-H-N won't match because that's 3 from that character class, not 1 and not 2. Okay, so some more regular expression examples. So here we have dot star. Again, that matches any, dot matches any character, star says any number of repetitions from 0 to anything. And then we have capital S, capital P, capital B, and again, dot star, so match any character from 0 to n instances. So that'll match anything with the substring capital S, capital P, capital B. So it could start with that, it could end with that, or it could be in the middle. And so here, raspberry will match, crisp bread will also match, but subspace will not match because it does not contain SPB, and subspecies will not match for the same reason. All right, next is an example we've already seen, which is using our selected repetition through curly braces. And you can see that we use the character class 0 to 9, 3 of those, followed by a dash, and then from the character class 0 to 9, we select 2 digits, and then a dash, and then from the character class 0 to 9, we select 4 digits. So this is our Social Security number template, and you can see it matches 2 examples of Social Security numbers. Those same numbers, however, without dashes, it won't match. With 1 dash, or a dash in the wrong place, it won't match. And then finally, we have an email example where we have a character, 1 or more, drawn from the character class A to Z, an @ sign, and then in parentheses, we have a character drawn from A to Z, 1 or more, because of the plus, followed by a period. And this is important. The slash says escape. Treat the period as a literal period, not the any character example in or operator in a template. And that's all in parentheses. We have to have 1 or more instances of this character followed by a period. And then we have in parentheses either edu as a string or com as a string. So that'll match horse at pizza.com because it's 1 or more characters before the @ sign, followed by 1 or more characters, a period, followed by com. And similarly, horse at pizza.food.com will also match because we can repeat that character followed by a period multiple times. It has to appear at least once, but it could appear 2 times. It could be horse at pepperoni.pizza.food.com would also match. But what won't match is frank_99 at yahoo.com. So why is that? Well, it's not because of the yahoo.com portion. It's because there's an underscore in the username and there are digits, the 99. And similarly, hug at CS won't match because we don't have a dot and we don't have an edu or com at the end of it. Okay, so given these operations, our challenge is give a regular expression for any lowercase string that has a repeated vowel. So examples are noon, peel, festoon, loop, and so on. So let's go to our regular expressions site. Okay, so we need to match noon, peel, festoon, loop. So repeated vowels, but we don't want to match LOL or LOAOL. So it would have to be a repeated O, a repeated A. Don't want to match OK, don't want to match OK, OKO, and don't want to match capital H, OO, capital P. So the double O is going to match, but we don't want to match the whole word. All right, so how can we do this? Well, we want to start with a character, right? A lowercase character. So it's the class of lowercase characters. So we can do that with A to Z. Okay, so we want to have that potentially repeated, right? Because we want to support something like festoon, where we would have an F from that character class, an E from that character class, and then a T from that character class. So we're going to say we let this be repeated. Okay, but now the next thing is at some point we need to have a repeated vowel. So we can do that with repeated vowels. So we'll do A, E, I, O, and U. Okay. So now, what are we going to have next? Well, next we want to have 0 or more lowercase characters, right? So there we go. All right, so now we're matching noon, we're matching peel, we match festoon, we match loop, and this is kind of interesting. If you look at loop, we're actually matching the L and O are matching from the A to Z star, and then the OO is matching from our middle set, and then the P is matching from our A to Z character class. And again, the double O in hoop matches, but hoop is not going to match because the H and the P are capitalized. So now we have our solution. Okay, so our solution was, again, the character class lowercase a through z repeated 0 or more times, followed by our duplicated characters, repeated vowels, A, E, I, O, or U, followed by 0 or more lowercase characters. Okay, here's a different challenge. So now we want to give a regular expression for any string that contains both a lowercase letter and a number. So let's go back to our trusty site. And we're going to click over here so we can see our unit tests. All right, so this is a little bit more complicated because we want to contain a lowercase letter and a number. So let's see. We could do that by doing any character followed by a lowercase letter, and then it might not be lowercase letter and then the number immediately. So there might be some character in between, and then we're going to have the number. So we'll add our number. And then there might be some additional characters afterwards. Okay. So let's see what happens if we run our test. So all of these match. But there's a caveat here. We made the assumption here that we had lowercase letter followed by a number. What if it's the other way around and we have a number followed by a lowercase letter? So we actually want to take this same string and we want to allow either. So we're going to flip this around and we'll put our numbers. And then we'll put our characters. Right, so this will allow us to have a lowercase letter followed by a number, or a number followed by a lowercase letter. And again, let's run our tests and make sure we're passing all our tests. Oh, we forgot our parentheses. There we go. So again, this string can contain both a lowercase letter and it contains a number in either order. Either the number, some number of string characters in between, and the letter, or the letter followed by some number of characters, and then the number.